We can clearly see because of this that the humble fruit bat and the young humble fruit bat are able to change the environment and the people in the environment and make the world a brighter place. Thank you so much for listening. I'd like to thank you all so much for coming out here tonight, and I'd like to welcome our second speaker for the night onto the stage. Can you please welcome Frans Hoffmann? Why does it feel so good to do things which are so bad for us? Why is it so easy for me to do something which I know is detrimental to my person, which I know won't make me a better person? Why do we have bad habits? Why do people continue doing things which they know are bad habits? And why do people struggle to shake bad habits? What is a habit anyway? A habit is a settled or regular tendency that one carries out, an action that one repeats and does without much thought. A habit could be many things. A habit could be brushing your teeth every night. It could be going to bed early in the evenings, or it could be smoking a cigarette whenever you're trying to wind down. The funny thing about habits is that your brain can't tell the difference between a good habit and a bad habit. In the world of habits and the brain, there's only two things. There are things that your brain thinks are comfortable, and there are things that your brain thinks are uncomfortable. Your brain cannot discern between something being good for you in the long run or something being bad for you in the long run. Doing things that are comfortable makes us feel at ease. They make us feel as if we're alright, as if the world around us isn't collapsing in on itself. Anything that instantly fills a need, even if we don't really know what that need is comfortable. And on the other hand, anything that doesn't fill a need or fills a need, which will only be understood in the far future, is very, very uncomfortable to our brains, because the chemical brain can't understand that something which is difficult for us now might be helpful for us in the future. The key word in all of this is immediate. The message that makes you feel socially accepted on social media makes you feel that way immediately. The ice cream that you ate, even though you know you're on a diet, makes you feel good and satisfied with what you ate immediately. The alcohol and drugs that you take to take the edge off of life, take the edge off of life immediately. This shows how things which are bad for us can feel so good in the moment, even if we know that they will be detrimental in the future. But these vices might make us happy right now, but what do people actually want from their lives? Well, just to give some examples, people want good health, they want good relationships, they want financial stability, they want a fulfilling life in terms of what they do with their work and what they do with their hobbies. These are things that people have always wanted and have always looked for. But instant gratification and bad habits can get in the way. The funny thing about everything that I listed is that all of these things are very, very uncomfortable to obtain. They often take very long periods of time, with goals set very far into the future. You know, all of that sounds really quite uncomfortable to me. Don't you think it's crazy that the same brains that know that certain behavior is bad for them choose to do that specific behavior? Now that I've said all of this, what can one do to break free from these bad habits? Well, this is an incredibly difficult question to answer because each person is different and each case is different. And there's no way of knowing that something that worked for me could work for someone else. Every afternoon when I got home, I used to spend hours, countless amounts of time, just sitting, staring at my phone, staring at social media, watching YouTube on my computer, wasting my time. And I decided to try and break free from these habits, trying to break free from these things which are holding me back. When I was trying to break this bad habit of my own, I decided to consult internet sources and book sources. But something funny that I found is that sources on this topic are very contradictory. So one source will say something, and another source would say something else, which is almost contradictory to the previous source. And on top of that, 90% of the stuff in this field is either motivational or inspirational. And I don't know about you, but that's quite an unsufferable thing to sit through. I did, however, after quite a bit of searching, find two solutions which I'd like to share with you. They may not work for everyone, they may not work for all cases, but I think that these two practical solutions will be quite effective, at least starting off your journey at breaking bad habits. The first of these is the next time you find yourself reaching for your bad habit, don't stay in autopilot mode. Let your brain think. Think about every single thing that you're doing viscerally. Think about everything you're doing down to a very specific degree. If you're reaching for a late night snack of chocolate, then think about the sound that the chocolate makes when you break it. Think about the taste of the chocolate. Think about what you're doing. Think about the future that this will lead to. If you're reaching for another cigarette, think about the sound that the lighter makes when you flick it on. Think about the taste that the cigarette's going to leave in your mouth. Think about the smell which the people around you are going to smell and you're going to smell. Think about the future that you'll have for yourself if you continue smoking like this. If you dissect every part, every feeling, everything of your bad habit, you'll be able to remove yourself from the experience. You'll be able to remove yourself from the right now, almost animalistic nature of habits, of doing something without really thinking. And you'll be able to see things in a more retrospective light. You may realize that your bad habit disgusts you. You may realize that your bad habit doesn't actually make you happy in the long run, or never really made you happy at all. And that you were just doing it because you felt that it's just something you did. This is so crucial because when has anyone ever quit smoking or ever changed anything about themselves from someone else telling them that it's something they have to change? No, change has to come from within. If you tell yourself and believe that what you're doing is wrong and that you could be doing something which is better for yourself, then that can really get the ball rolling on changing your behavior. Instant gratification can get you down. The world we live in, with so much instant gratification, I believe, makes the human experience more empty. If you need friends, social media's got you covered. You need food? Welcome to all the processed food and fast foods. Need romance? Tinder will find someone for you. You just want to wind down? You can watch whatever show you want on Netflix or any other streaming platform you have. And if you want to take the edge off of life, it's fine because drugs and alcohol will be able to do that for you immediately. These bad habits fill our needs, but they're also unhealthy and unsatisfying. they are practically substitutes for having real relationships with real friends, finding romance with a real person, having a healthy lifestyle, and having fulfilling jobs and hobbies. This brings me onto the second solution that I propose to help people break bad habits, and it's something which is known as dopamine fasting. Dopamine fasting is the idea of limiting behavior which satisfies or instantly satisfies our chemical brains, and rather focusing our attention towards activities which may be uncomfortable in the moment, but actually help us achieve our long-term goals and long-term happiness. Our brains get so used to all the dopamine flowing in from the previously stated vices, because those vices cause instant gratification, instant acceptance, instant comfort in the brain. And this makes our chemical brains happy. This leads to things that used to make you happy and fulfilled being uninspiring and maybe even depressing, because there's a better alternative out there. By avoiding these vices, we can rebalance our brain chemistry and make things like walking a dog or doing an LOL project exciting again. I've been trying dopamine fasting over the last month or so, and I must say the first week was quite challenging. But I've realized more and more as time went on that dopamine fasting allows me to be mindful and to reflect and live in the moment. It allows me to live in the right now, not to think about something which is on my phone or think about anything else. It just allows me to think about the world that I'm living in. I think that's such a powerful thing to have, because it allows you to be human. It allows you to detach from the things which would almost hold you down. I hope that something that I've said tonight has at least resonated with one person in the audience, and that they can maybe use some advice or a proposition that I've made to improve their lives or change something about themselves which they don't really like as much. You know, there's a saying that goes that the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time to plant a tree is right now. Thanks for listening.